Yes, every word of it is true. I truly believe this. This is an honest opinion of the place. I lived there for 20 years. I was born there. Forgive me for being born there. That's why sometimes I might even go as far as saying I'm from Eugene. I won't say I'm from Medford. That I spent enough time in Medford, but I spent enough time in Eugene where a few people might remember my face around there, on the streets of Eugene, Oregon. So, um, Roseburg, no, not so much. And I apologize, even though it's out of my control, being born wherever you're born. I apologize right now for being born there, or having gone there, or having anything to do with Roseburg, Oregon. hmm Out of all the places that I've been in the world, I've been overseas. I've lived in New York. I lived in New Jersey. Lived in Jacksonville. Lived in Grass Valley, Albany, Georgia. Out of all the places that I've ever been, and I must tell you that one of the most friendliest places I thought was cool, and they can um, understand that they treated somebody hospitable there when they were there. They were very nice in Missouri. To somebody who appreciates that. In case you think I'm just some kind of douche, dickhead too, like other people or anybody, because I swear and curse and have a problem there. Sorry, forgive me for living. I don't care. I really don't. I really don't care if you if you live, die, or what, anything. It doesn't. It really doesn't matter to me. But a place like this that prefers to not even be exposed or to even be known about. They don't even want people talking about them, you like I said, I lived in California, um, lived in New York. I've been um, all over the place on the planet. And I, honest to God, really truly believe one of the most unfriendliest places in the world is Roseburg, Oregon. Um, People there kind of there's nice people everywhere you go, and there's people you can look up to. But those cool people all have to live with the aspect that they're some of the biggest douchebags that I've ever come in contact with. Live in this place. I lived there for a long time, so I guess I had probably maybe a lot more experience than other people around, and I know that there is just as bad or worse douchebags than I've been in contact with time to time in this place. But what makes them the number one unfriendliest place on my list for places not to go, like the worst place to go that you do not want to go, is they don't like outsiders. Really, it's not. They're not like being racist like that. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or anything indifferent. They just don't like people going there or really even living there unless you're kind of like I don't know what you need to be to fit in there, like the Stepford Wives or something like that, where everybody's all like, on the jolly good jolly G, you know? I got a jolly good jolly G. You might have never catch me taking my neighbor's newspaper. My jolly good jolly, you know? These people like find bizarre ways to just like um, show how unfriendly they are at times. Where, like I said, for reasons of like the same reason why I think it's the most unfriendliest place in my opinion is part of the same reason why I'll say I'm from somewhere else, like Eugene. I said I'm from Eugene, Oregon. Screw it. I don't want to say I'm from Roseburg. And the reason why I'm saying I'm from there now, right here, just for a time, I'll change it eventually, is because I'm trying to say this is where I'm from and where I was born, kind of a map to my history. So, um, like I said, please forgive me if my parents were, my father was in the military or whatever, and um, for whatever reason, my grandfather's buried in that VA cemetery. So that's one disappointing aspect, or one disappointing thing to them being like that, is that with the way I feel, I don't ever want to go back there, and I won't be able to ever see my grandfather's tombstone again. But I've been there, and I've went and visited with my grandfather uh, numerous amounts of time. I went to the Woolly Center for some time, off and on, and the VA cemetery, where a lot of World War II vets are buried, is what do you say? I guess adjacent. What do you say? Adjacent to the Woolly Center. So it's right like on the same campus of where I went to school. My grandfather is buried like on the same campus. It's in the same field. There's baseball diamonds and stuff like that, and then there's a designated part of the whole area in the field right by Harvard, the one of the main roads in there, and Harvard has the VA cemetery. So besides that, and like my grandma is still there, and um, some other people. There's some people who I just don't appreciate anymore, and other people I would really like to see, but I'll take um, after not being able to see and enjoy time spent with people I used to kick it with and hang out with. We used to take advantage of the vast wilderness in the area. There, you talk about a little tiny city, Roseburg or whatever, who doesn't want to be known about, and is for whatever reason acts like a cocksucker about it. They they've got a vast wilderness in that area. Maybe that might be part of it. Is that maybe they think part of that helps restore the prestige, nostalgia of the forest. I keep saying that a lot lately. I said it in like the pristine nostalgia. If I can say it, I can another way. The pristine nostalgia. Mm. I don't usually like pristine nostalgia, but when I do, yes. But anyways, so I'm just saying, like, I take note to all this stuff. Like I said, when I was driving through the country, I took note of people and places that were bitter, and other places that were not. There was a place there. I was headed to Rolla. Was where I was headed. So it was somewhere by Rolla, off the old Highway 66, whatever that way. Awesome people, really neat people. They're in that area. I'm like I said, I'm just taking note, and I've been all over the place, um, to different countries and a bunch of different states. Two of the, you say, main ones, if you're talking about people that can be rude, let's not try to make a big deal or a scene about this. Let's be foretelling and honest. Come on. you know that you guys, for whatever reason, the people are in Chicago and those other places, they are, there's a lot of people there, whatever the reason is, they're just, not always the nicest people. What can we say? We'll say it that way. Can we get away with making our point to everybody by saying it that way? That sometimes they're just not the nicest people. Let's maybe not say that they're the meanest people I ever ran into, but out of all those different people in the world, I have not ever seen anybody more um, like you know, they are just. I mean, there's nothing that is more or less uh, glorious than them, and it's not them at all. It's surely the area around them, but what they end up having is they end up having a bunch of shitheads that do end up moving there and do end up living there. And you got a lot of them. They didn't end up being like an asset to the community. You know, they didn't necessarily look at, well, where's my place in the town? Where do I fit in here? I'm not trying to say fit in. I know you have to fit in one way or another, wherever somewhere. But I'm just saying these people don't look at where their place in society is until they grow up, and you just have to sit there and shake your head and let the shit rattle in your head. I guess you dumbfounded. It's like you have rocks in your head too. 'Cause some people can make you more stupid, but they make you more stupid whenever you have to listen to some of the bullshit that some of these people say. But anyways, you have to sit there just like everybody else and hope that the best for them, that they turn out okay and not deceiving, uh, deviant, or what I mean is, what I'm trying to mean in particular is just somebody who will set you up and laugh about it, or thinks it's funny, doing you dirty, not being a straight up human being with you. People who are rotten or criminally wrong, they act like children. So we all have to. Everybody else has to wait for these people to grow up, you know. And then sometimes other people are manipulated and they can be victims of circumstances. So anybody who says, "Oh no, I don't believe that. I don't believe anybody doesn't just get into trouble by the cops and then not be actually something." I'll just like tell you, whatever, man. Do I not have a right to my own opinion? So you're gonna cram some shit on me like as if I don't really have an opinion, and that's what the point of our democracy and our country and everything really stands for and means, is that we all have a certain position or opinion where we stand, and people like these right here really try their best to give you no ground to stand on. They let the people there get away with like stalking you or haunting you, or I don't know what the police's excuse would be for that. Would be, oh well, we can't really, they can't really like put all those uh, evil people in jail until they commit a crime or get caught or are seen doing something enough. So I mean, give me a break, So people that live there live it with a certain kind of mentality, like shh, oh, be quiet. Like we don't want anybody to know about Roseburg. We have to make Roseburg the most unfriendliest and uncoolest place on earth because of Sasquatch or something. I'm serious. Like there's like an Area 51 or something over there that people don't know about, or something going on, maybe like top secret or something. Maybe even something crazy that's in the water that you can't even see. Like you could test the water and be like, oh, this water's fine. But there's something in the water. There's something in it. No, I'm just saying like um most unfriendliest place because they have a secret, or is there something that they're hiding? You know, what is it about Roseburg, Oregon, to make them the most unfriendliest place? Are they covering up something? What are they exactly trying to hide? Me, in my opinion, I think it's more probably than anything, it's that they don't want people to trash the place, to litter the place, or bring their garbage in there and like litter and leave trash so that they'll have to go. The county will have to go and clean it up later, maybe or something like that. You know, but there is a lot of. I mean, there's so much beautiful landscape that I'm so fond of and familiar with that I had been around for nearly 20 years. All that stuff. Bird Mountain, that was one of my favoriteest places to go because you could drive, you get away from the city and bullshit and everything, and you really were in no man's land where you didn't have to worry about anybody trying to, cold cock you or, uh, you know, treat you bad or anything. And I mean, if they did, I mean, oh well, I mean, what the hell? You're out in the middle of fucking Timbuktu, buddy. Really, you're gonna be a douche out in the middle of fucking nowhere? You know, we're not in the city, asswipe. you know? So I never really ever ran into anybody who was miserable or was in a bad mood or anything like that out in the sticks, out in the mountains and stuff, you know? Anytime we ran into somebody, we had probably more than likely something to share. Like they would have some kind of food, and you would have some kind of food, and you would share a little bit of this or that, kind of stuff like that. Just mountain stuff. But seriously, one of the most unfriendliest places in the world, in my opinion, for some reason. Maybe you could, if I could, I could. I really don't want to. I have no business going there or being there. I want to sell out of the place. Like if I had any stock or anything invested in the place, I would want to pull out of there, like like a magician or whatever. Economist, magician economist. I would pull my stock out of Roseburg and I would unplug any ties or anything at all that there could possibly ever be, any connection, a house or um, anything at all that would connect me to the place. I would sell out of there, and there's no way I would ever go back there. I would I would go to I'd go to Colorado before I go there, and I would probably go stay somewhere in the South, probably. Um, a little bit warmer. Stay out of the snow. The snow was fun. It was great. I had all my winter clothes and everything. Um, and for the last few years there, when I was there, it was starting to snow again, really good. So we had snowball fights and whatever this and that. But again, like I said, it doesn't mean that everybody there is unfriendly and that I didn't have friends there, that they weren't cool people. Like I said, all those people, um, I feel bad for them because they all have to deal with like city council people and other people like that work for them and their police and other authorities and stuff like that and city workers are just some of the most bitter, vile people that I've ever experienced or had um, experience with. Come in contact with any of these people, it's just like, whoa, like you'd be so shocked on how just like bitter and just like rude these people are in this place. And again, like I said, I totally feel sorry for all my friends, and anybody else that has to deal with that and lives in that really unfriendly, miserable town. I feel so bad for you staying there. And I'm not joking. I'm not trying to like make a joke like I'm gonna laugh. Okay, I'm laughing, but I mean, I truly, I mean, I am sorry. I am, I am. I mean, to the bottom of my heart, I am absolutely so sorry that. All right, hold on, stop. Let me get my serious face back on. Okay, my friends that live there, the people that I like that are there anyways, I have anything to do with. Still, those people have to deal with some of the biggest boobs and some of the most um, imbecilic people, foreign, act like a bunch of freaking hillbilly foreigners or something. I don't know exactly what they explain how that is. They got their heads quite right up their ass, and all the people there that are like, I'm sorry, I apologize for laughing. It was not that. I mean, it kind of was funny how I said it, and that's why I laughed. I'm not laughing at anybody's misery, okay? Because I lived there for, like I said, almost 20 years, so I know how um, what a shithole it is there, and I really truly am sorry that you guys have to live there for one, and for another thing, if unless you're comfortable there and nobody really fucks with you and it's peaceful in your life, then I take that back and I'm glad. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you have a peaceful life and that nobody bothers you because that's what life was meant to be like. Honestly, honest to God, life was meant for us not to be screwed with by other people constantly and to have people treat you unfriendly too. For you have to experience an unfriendly person to where um you know it's basically now you've experienced the unfriendly side of things. Now what, are you going to be bitter, or does that kind of put it does it deads your fuse a little bit is what it does. It takes away your happiness and your ability to be charming and to be around other charming people who are. There is nothing wrong with being like a happy-go-lucky person, wave at your neighbor when they're going by. Um, but to have to get familiar with the ones that don't wave at you when you got all these other people waving at you, I see that all the time now. You got a bunch of friendly people, you like can't appreciate that or whatnot. And then you got these other sticklers or whatever, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine or whatever to be like that. But um, really, I would I'd prefer to not have to experience that and have to be around those. And I think that's more of a something a Yankee would do, something like a Yankee would do to you because of the mentality of where they live. I was trying to tell somebody that the other day. No matter how much I even uh, don't want to admit it myself, I'm a Southerner now. And there's a big difference between y'all Yankees and a Southerner, or somebody who's lived in the South long enough to adjust. And that is basically a person like me. I'm where I belong. I was raised in the Marine Corps until I was 12, and I was taught to be polite. So open doors for women and not be a jerk. But you gotta mixed you right off of the bat. So what is a person supposed to be? Is a person supposed to be somewhat neutral to all of that? So is my position where I'm supposed to take? Am I supposed to be like in the middle of the most friendliest and the unfriendliest? So I have I have to somehow find a common ground in the middle and be my character, force my character to act like whether I was naturally meant to be super nice or just a douchebag. I'm supposed to be this douchey nice guy. No, right? Yeah. And I admit, something I kicked some guy's ass when I was a teenager because he uh he punked me in front of these girls. I always get punked in front of girls, and it pissed me off. So I thumped the guy really quick, and I just moved there to the area, and it was in Winston, Oregon. The guy had a yard sale or whatever there in front of his house, right across from where the Melon Festival goes, right there across from the school. I used to work at that little school. I worked there, and I worked at Douglas High School too as their rotation custodial worker person. However, custodial person. Guy, whatever. It was cool. It was all right. It wasn't that bad. Um, but yeah.